Hello everyone, welcome to Wingina Nails. In this video, I'll be taking off my old purple nails to start and then changing them into a very glittery pink set. So these are my nails. Some of them are still fake. You can see some of them are plastic, the other ones are grown out. I'm going to go ahead and chop off all my natural nails and just get rid of everything. So first, I'm going to take off these bears, and I use some cuticle nippers to take off the bears, and it's just sort of like cutting around the bear. Be very careful, don't like apply a lot of pressure because you can slip and cut yourself, and that's not good. So it's just a little pressure, even though it looks like a lot. It's only a little pressure that I'm applying here, and then once I get it loose enough, then I can pop the bear right off. And then it's stuck with that layer on top, which I do file down, and I was actually able to pop off a lot of these nails really easily, so um, I didn't really have to soak off all of them. With the same cuticle nippers, I do take off that gemstone and the chain that I wrapped around it, as well as the little uh, rhinestones at the bottom of my ring finger. I used a different one for this one because I was able to get underneath and just snip off the gel. So I'm not really like pulling at it. I'm just snipping off and sort of lifting up the gel so that the rhinestones will fall off. And then you can soak off your nails. You can do whatever it takes to get off your natural or get down to your natural nails. So filed them all down, soaked what needed to be soaked, the rest popped off, and here are my natural nails. Very, very small. So I'll be using the Model 1 tips that came in the extension set with the glue and the primer. I don't really care for the shape at the bottom of the nail where it meets the cuticle, so I do round it off slightly with a file so that it'll fit my thumb better and the rest of my fingers better. And you see here, I sort of got it to be the same shape as my nail since I'm attaching the entire tip to my entire nail rather than just like halfway up. And then I'm going inside and scuffing up just to make sure the gel glue bonds to both my nail and a scuffed up surface inside of the nail. It helps it last longer. And I'm going in with Mama One's dehydrator and primer. The extension set does come with the primer or step one in the set, but I go ahead and use this one since I have it. The dehydrator is just basically acetone. I don't know if the dehydrator and primer is different in the glue set. I don't really see a difference, but either way, just apply that dehydrator and then the primer, and then I'm going in with Model 1's 4-in-1 nail glue, which did come with that set, but I have like bought it several times separate. I scrub it into my natural nail, like really pressing in and going back and forth, making sure to get it into all the little crevices that are in my nail so that it'll like create a tight bond. And then I take some extra and I do the same thing inside the extension. So I scrub it into those little lines and crannies that are created inside of that nail, and then take some extra, wipe it off at the base, and then apply it from the cuticle to the tip on the nail, spreading out that gel. So if you mess up, you can always take it off, scrape off the gel, and try it again. See, like me, I just scrape it off, and then pop that into the lamp for 30 seconds. And then I go over it with a 100-180 grit file. I use the coarser side to file down the edges and the free edge, and then the finer grit to make it more flush with my natural nail. I'm going to show you one more time on my index finger. I do take a buffer. I recommend doing this. Take a buffer to the top of the nail because it'll help the gel stick to it. Otherwise, the gel might peel straight off the extension. So onto my index finger, taking that Mala Ones glue, scrubbing it into the nail, and then applying it to the tip, scrubbing it into the fake tip, and then adding that little extra at the end, and then applying it at the cuticle, pressing down toward the tip, popping it into the lamp for 30 seconds. Once I'm done, I do put my entire hand into the lamp for a full minute to make sure that it's cured properly. And this is Model 1, so I always recommend a full minute when it comes to Model 1s because I feel like that actually makes sure it stays. So those are all the nails. I take that 180, 100 grip file, and I do the same thing, smooth out the edges, get it to the shape I want, take down the part around my cuticle to make it flatter, and then I buff all the surfaces to make sure that the gel will actually stick to it. I'm gonna go and do this hand first, and then I'll do the other hand off camera, and then we'll come back to that hand later on in the video. So I'm taking Born Pretty Gel Polish BWH92, and I'm just applying it halfway up my middle finger and my ring finger, and then I'm going to blend it toward the tip, but not entirely, just lightly, and so that there's still some of that tip exposed, like just the plastic part. This does take 2 layers to make sure it's pretty opaque at, well, like the part of my nail where you can see my skin through my nail. I make sure that's opaque. I used a brush to do this blending, but you can use a sponge or anything you want. And then I put that into the lamp for 30 seconds and then went on to the second coat. Second coat, do the same thing, just the blending outward, and then um, that's basically all the color gel polish I used for this. The rest is really just Model 1's base coat. So like I said, second coat goes into the lamp for 30 seconds as well. I feel like Born Pretty cures pretty well at 30 seconds, but you might want to go in for a full minute. And I'm going in with Model 1's um, gel polish base coat. And this is why I said it's mainly just the base coat from here on. I go over all the nails with that base coat to create a smooth surface. And this is needed for the next step. So that goes into the lamp for 30 seconds. Don't wipe off the sticky layer. We need it for the next step. I'm going in with this iridescent pink powder. It is a rub-on powder. I got it from AliExpress. It was like $2 for 6. And I take a fluffy brush and I just rub that all over the nail. And I do that over all of the nails except on the thumb. I only go halfway up. And really mainly like these nails were made with just the powder and the color. So those are the nails. Now we're going in with these pastel glitters from Shein. It's pretty cheap. And that Model 1's base coat. We're going to apply it just sort of trying to make it look random, but it's really not. There is like purpose put into the placement. I'm going in with 2 glitters. This one and a circular glitter I got a while back from, I believe, Born Pretty, but I'm not sure. This has 2 different sizes in it, a very small glitter and then that chunkier glitter. And this does go into the lamp for 30 seconds. I do that on my middle finger and my ring finger. And then I apply another coat of that base coat and go on with those round glitters that I was talking about, the circular glitter. And that goes back into the lamp for 30 seconds as well. And from this point, we start decorating the other nails at random. So I would say it really is just whatever I wanted to put on it, I put on it. Apply that base coat again, and then I'm going in with some iridescent butterflies that came in a Model 1's kit. You can find these anywhere. They're all over AliExpress and Shein and stuff. It's really easy to find. With these, because they don't lay entirely flat, or at least on my nails, they don't lay flat, I did really have to build up the base coat layer on this before I top coated it to make sure that those butterflies weren't sticking out. And I didn't want to file them down because I didn't want them to lose their wings. So I go back and forth, and then now, like I said, we're going random. We're on the thumb now, and I'm using this moon and a heart that came in a little decoration kit from Shein, and some base coat. Pop that into the lamp for 30 seconds. This is that clear nail, and I did put a little butterfly on it at the tip to tie in that butterfly there. I also felt like the thumb looked a little empty. I'm taking the base coat and I'm going up underneath the gap between my nail and those decorations and putting that into the lamp for 30 seconds. And then I do that again just to make sure those gaps are filled so they won't grab onto anything or get stuck in my hair or something. For the pinky, I go in with that base coat, some AB crystals, and some nail art beads that I got from Born Pretty on their AliExpress site. And this is just a very, very simple placement of rhinestones. My pinky is very small, and these are like the two smallest sizes of rhinestones that I can find. So just three of those, and then four of those little nail art beads. And I use that little lamp just to cure it in place fast so they don't slide when I go in with these little beads. And after that top coat, I do put it into the lamp for 30 seconds just to make sure it is set. And although I say put Model 1s in the lamp for 30 seconds, because these are going into the lamp, because I say to put Model 1s in the lamp for a full minute, these are going into the lamp so often that I'd say you go 30 seconds because it'll be back in the lamp very fast. Like immediately going from that nail to this middle finger, it's going back in the lamp for another 30 seconds. So that pinky will have cured for an entire minute. Well, here I did apply that base coat again. I'm going in with these holographic hearts. Now, I don't know if I got these from AliExpress or from Shein, but I'll try to figure that out and put it in the description box. Also put one of those butterflies on there. And then with the ring finger, I put another butterfly to tie that in. And then those go into the lamp for 30 seconds. Now this next step, um, I believe I filled in the hearts off camera, but I'm not sure. I'm going in with that same heart that's on my middle finger, but in a smaller size. So it's like the mini version of that other one. And then I place a little rhinestone at the tip of my nail. So always make sure to go over everything that you can, except for the rhinestones, with the base coat and the top coat, just to protect it from getting scuffed or scratched. There we go. So I put rhinestones on that index finger, the pointer finger, and I forgot to film it, but I'm doing the same pattern on the ring finger, so you'll be able to see it either way. I just do a little zigzag of those AB crystals going back and forth. On the index finger, I put it opposite the butterflies. And here I just go back and forth. And the struggle of picking up the rhinestones, of course. And until that for 30 seconds. And lastly on that thumb, well not lastly I should say, the thumb I thought it looked a little empty. So I put in a few of those little nail art beads on the top and bottom of the moon and the heart. And sort of like to put them in place. And then I do go in after putting that in the lamp for 30 seconds with a little pink rhinestone to just add something to the center of that moon. I felt like it needed something to finish it off. So in with that base coat, then that rhinestone, and then into lamp for 30 seconds. Now here I'm going to show you where I'm filling in the gaps. Last time, I'm going to make sure all those gaps are filled in with that base coat and then into lamp for 30 seconds. And just make sure, go over all the nails, make sure everything is flat, that nothing's sticking out. And that goes for the glitter as well. And then lastly here, we're going over with the top coat. So try to avoid the crystals if they're uh, glass, because some top coats will take away the facets of a crystal if they're glass because they blend in so well with that top coat. So just either be extra careful or just take a Q-tip or some cotton on anything and clean off the top of those crystals when before you cure them. With a top coat, it goes into the lamp for a full minute. As I always say, Model 1s is a full minute. Now, on the other hand, because it's my right hand and I don't want it snagging on anything, I ended up just placing on this long rhinestone and then two smaller rhinestones at the top and bottom of it, using that same base coat. It was very simple and into the lamp for 30 seconds. And I made sure to fill in the gaps with that base coat again, just to make sure that my hair doesn't get caught underneath it or around it and rip it off. And that goes into the lamp for 30 seconds, and then it gets a top coat and it goes into the lamp for a full minute. So those are this week's, I'm not sure, nails. Um, then I just put on some cuticle oil, and that's it, completed. I'm really happy with these. I didn't cut down the tips, which is like a first for me. I'm not sure how long I can handle this length, but it's fun. I never do pink. I hope that you guys liked this video and found it either entertaining or useful in some way. Thank you all so much for watching. All the products will be in the description box if I can find them. Please have a great day. Bye bye, everyone.